What up, y'all? It's your boy, Mr. Downtown Ray Melo, and you're listening to the Entertainment Report on iHeartRadio, live from Dubai for Friday, November 22nd, 2019, delivering some major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Mel, that's RAYMELO, on Twitter at The Enter Report, or on Instagram at The Entertainment Report. You listen to the show anytime you want on iHeartRadio. Just go to iHeart.com or your iHeart phone app, search for The Entertainment Report, and it'll take you to the page. Focus Features is giving a first glimpse of Anya Taylor-Joy in Emma. The studio released a teaser trailer for the film Thursday featuring Taylor-Joy as the titular character, Emma Woodhouse. Johnny Flynn co-stars as George Knightley, with Bill Nighy as Mr. Woodhouse, Miranda Hart as Miss Bates, Mia Goth as Harriet Smith, Josh O'Connor as Mr. Elton, and Callum Turner as Frank Churchill. Emma is based on the Jane Austen novel of the same name, which was previously adapted as a 1996 film starring Gwyneth Paltrow. The movie follows Emma, a handsome, clever, and rich young woman who attempts to play matchmaker. Taylor-Joy is known for her roles in dark films such as The Witch, Split, and The Thoroughbreds. She said in an interview with IndieWire in September that she is drawn to characters rather than genres or tones. The actress says, "It's a weird sort of magic feeling when I read a script and I hear the character's voice. If I hear her voice instantly and I already start sitting like the person, I'm just like, okay, this person belongs to me and I belong to them." Emma is directed by Autumn DeWilde, and it's opening in theaters on February 21st. 21 Bridges is Chadwick Boseman's first movie after Black Panther, Avengers Infinity War, and Endgame. He will return for Black Panther 2 in 2022, but he's using the downtime and his newfound clout to diversify. Boseman told UPI in an interview, "I've done superhero movies and I love them. I love that I haven't done cheesy ones or corny ones. I feel like they're good movies, but I've never saw myself doing superhero movies when I decided I wanted to be an actor." Now that Boseman has played T'Challa, Black Panther 4 times, he has been itching to get back to real-world characters like the one he plays in 21 Bridges, Detective Andre Davis. Boseman says, "If I wasn't doing this type of movie, more grounded in reality like this, I wouldn't be fulfilled as an actor. I would be doing one thing I wanted to do, but not another one." 21 Bridges is a cop drama. Davis is under investigation by Internal Affairs for his involvement in multiple shootings. When a pair of crooks played by Taylor Kitsch and Stephen James kill 8 officers in a robbery, Andre wants to bring them in alive, even though much of the New York police departments want their heads. Frozen shook up the Disney princess formula by showing that its leads don't need romance or to be perfect. Elsa, voiced by Idina Menzel, didn't need romance, and Anna, voiced by Kristen Bell, wasn't perfect. The sequel shows Elsa has been living happily as the queen of Andrildel for 3 years with her sister Anna. Anna's boyfriend Kristoff, played by Jonathan Groff, and her snowman Olaf, played by Josh Gad. Elsa begins to hear a melodic siren call to leave her kingdom. Visiting the enchanted forest reveals Anna and Elsa there was more to the history of Adrenaldale than their parents, who died in a shipwreck, ever told. Learning their original origin stories comes with responsibility, and Bell approves giving young viewers that message. Bell said at a press conference for Frozen 2, "I think that in order to evolve, you have to learn from history. I think in order to learn from history, you have to know it. So I think that the subliminal current of wanting to know origin stories comes from wanting betterment for humanity by learning from the past." It's no longer winter in Andrionell, but Elsa uses her powers to give Olaf a permafrost so he can survive the warmer seasons. Even with that year-round magic, Olaf begins to sense that nothing lasts forever. That theme hits close to home for Gad as she shares a personal story with his oldest daughter, Ava. Gad said at the press conference, "My oldest child one day was sitting at the table. She was laughing, and all of a sudden tears started streaming down her face. She looked at me and my wife, and she goes, 'What if I don't want to grow up?' And she started crying. It was so unbelievable because I think we all have that experience as kids. It's so traumatic, you just forget about it." Gad's related Ava existential crisis to Olaf's. In the first Frozen, Olaf was just a snowman whom Anna and Elsa had to prevent from walking into the sunlight and melting. In Frozen 2, he thinks for himself. Frozen fans have waited 6 years to see Frozen 2. There have been shorts like Frozen Fever and Olaf's Frozen Adventure to tide them over. But for the cast and filmmakers, they've pretty much continued working on Frozen projects. Menzel still performs Frozen songs in her stage show. Tyler Perry will make his Netflix debut with the new film A Fall from Grace. The streaming service announced in a tweet Friday that the movie, starring Crystal Fox, Brisha Webb, Felicia Rashad, and Cicely Tyson, will premiere January 17th. A Fall from Grace follows Grace Waters, played by Fox, a divorced woman whose new romance is jeopardized by secrets and violence. The Post reads, Tyler Perry's A Fall from Grace, starring at only one Crystal Fox, at Brisha Webb, Felicia Rashad, and I Am Cicely Tyson, and more will be coming to a Netflix January 17, 2020. Centered around a divorced woman who feels restored by a new romance, secrets soon start to erode her short-lived joy. The film is the first movie entirely filmed and released from Tyler Perry Studios, which had a star-studded opening in October. Fox is known for playing Lou Ann Corbin on In the Heat of the Night, and presently portrays Hannah Young on The Haves and Have-Nots. Perry has a number of other projects in the works, including the series The Oval and Sisters for the streaming service BET+. The Oval, which premiered in October, follows two families in the White House. Avengers icon Mark Ruffalo said he wanted to produce and star in Dark Waters because the film gave him the chance to play an unconventional hero in a shocking true story of corporate greed at the expense of public health. The 51-year-old Wisconsin native told UPI in a recent phone interview, I was just floored by something so big that spanned so many decades that it was such a crime. So many people must look the other way to have allowed it to happen. There were so many players involved. Director Tom Haynes' critically acclaimed movie is due in theaters on Friday. Part legal thriller, part detective story. It follows Rob Billot, played by Ruffalo, a Cincinnati attorney who usually defends chemical companies, but who gets roped into suing DuPont on behalf of the residents of the small town of Parksburg in his native West Virginia. Netflix is giving a glimpse of Penn Badgley's In You Season 2. The streaming service released the first look photo Thursday of Badgley as serial killer Joe Goldberg. The picture shows Joe sharing a moment with his ex-girlfriend Candace, played by Ambyr Childers, in a restaurant. Candace was confirmed to be alive in the Season 1 finale. Season 1 is based on the Caroline Knipp's novel of the same name, while Season 2 adapts the author's book, Hidden Bodies. Season 1 initially premiered on Lifetime and follows Joe's romance with Guinevere Beck, played by Elizabeth Lail. Season 2 follows Joe's romance with his new obsession, Love Queen, played by Victoria Pedretti, and his aspiring chef. Showrunner Sarah Gamble said of the relationship to Entertainment Weekly, it's not that simple love at first sight he might be looking for a couple of years ago. He's a different guy. He's been through more. You Season 2 premieres December 26th on Netflix. Joe Jonas will host a new travel series for Quibi. The streaming service confirmed in a tweet Thursday that Jonas will host and executive produce the forthcoming series Cup of Joe. Quibi shared a promo photo featuring Jonas' likeness in the form of a cup of coffee. A passport can be seen in the background. The post reads, our bags are packed. We're traveling the world with Joe Jonas and enjoying some coffee while we're at it. Hashtag Cup of Joe only on at Quibi. Cup of Joe is inspired by Jonas' Instagram account, where the singer often documents his travel. The show will follow Jonas, a member of the pop group The Jonas Brothers, as he travels the world for the band's Happiness Begins tour. Each episode will show Jonas explore a city with the help of a local guide. The series will combine Jonas' love of travel, photography, and adventure. Jonas says, you often think you know about a certain place or a person until you take some time to dig deeper. I'm fortunate to get to travel around the world through my profession, and you often see me on the other side of the lens, but Cup of Joe has given me the opportunity to dig a little deeper and point the lens at one of the world's most interesting people and some more of the weird, fun things I'm into. The Quibi streaming service will launch April 6th. Jonas' wife, actress Sophie Turner, also has a Quibi series, Survive, in the works. Jonas is a member of the Jonas Brothers and the band Dance. The Jonas Brothers kicked off their Happiness Begins World Tour in August and will next perform Friday in Newark, New Jersey. The group will also take the stage Sunday at the American Music Awards. Grey's Anatomy and its spin-off Station 19 will return to television with a crossover in January. ABC announced in a press release Thursday that it will air a crossover event for the series January 23rd. The 2-hour event begins at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Station 19, with Grey's Anatomy to follow at 9 p.m. Station 19 and Grey's Anatomy will remain in the 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. time slots on Thursday, respectively. The crossover will follow by the mid-season premiere of A Million Little Things in its new time slot at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Grey's Anatomy is in its 16th season and stars Ellen Pompeo, Justin Chambers, Chandra Wilson, and James Pickens Jr. January 23rd marks the Season 3 premiere of Station 19, which features Gianna Lee Ortiz, Jason George, and Greg Damon. Grey's Anatomy and Station 19 showrunners Krista Vernov said in an interview with Deadline that Grey's Anatomy Season 16 fall finale, airing Thursday, will tie into the Station 19 Season 3 premiere. She says there is an incident at the end of the Grey's episode that requires you to come back in January at 8 p.m. to see how the first responders handle it. ABC also announced mid-season premiere dates for the new drama series For Life, premiering February 11th, American Idol Season 18 premiering February 16th, The Rookie returning February 23rd, and How to Get Away with Murder returning April 2nd. Lingerie retailer Victoria's Secret will not televise its annual fashion show this year, parent company L Brands announced, citing low ratings and declining sales. The primetime television program has for 24 years been a holiday season focus for the brand, which has used the high-profile setting as promotion. Featuring elaborate costuming, music, and set design, it has highlighted the world's foremost fashion models wearing Victoria's Secret products. The fashion show has been called an anti-feminist by several publications, including Cosmopolitan and The Guardian. Including the fashion show, which has been called anti-feminist by several publications, including The Guardian and Cosmopolitan. In 2018, its television ratings were at its lowest. The announcement came on Wednesday in an earnings call, which noted that Victoria's Secret's earnings, gross margin, store sales, and online sales declined significantly in the third quarter. Sales of the pink brand aimed at younger female customers also declined. Operation Midterm for a show of $81 million. Although Bath & Body Works, another L brand retailer, saw an 11% improvement in sales compared to last year. In March, it was suggested by stockholder Barrington Capital Group that the L brand should, quote, take swift action to improve the performance of Victoria's Secret by, among other things, correcting past merchandising mistakes and ensuring that Victoria's Secret is communicating and compelling, and it is up to date and managed. And Will Ferrell told host Jimmy Fallon of The Tonight Show that their famous More Cowbell sketch from Saturday Night Live ruined Christopher Walken's life. The sketch from 2000 features Walken as a famous music producer that keeps asking Ferrell to keep adding more cowbell to a song that's being recorded. Ferrell said on Thursday that years after the sketch, he visited Walken at the actor's party. Ferrell says, I said hello to him backstage, and he's like, you know, you've ruined my life, before he started to mimic Walken. The comedian continued, people have drawn the curtain call, bring cowbells and ring them. The other day I went from an Italian food lunch to the waiter asking if I wanted more cowbell. The 52-year-old says, from the Deer Hunter to Pulp Fiction to more cowbell, that's all he gets now. Ferrell also played a round of Whispers Challenge with Fallon, with the pair taking turns trying to guess what each person is saying while wearing noise-canceling headphones. Ferrell went off script and gave long stories instead of reading. Ferrell went off script and gave long stories instead of reading one phrase. The film star also knew beforehand what phrase Fallon was going to read while he wore the headphones. Rian Johnson, who helmed 2017's Star Wars The Last Jedi, discussed his work on the sci-fi adventure series while appearing on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen. Cohen asked the filmmaker on Thursday if a series of rapid-fire Star Wars questions Cohen asked the filmmaker on Thursday a series of rapid Star Wars questions and if he still stands by the choice he made on The Last Jedi, referencing how some fans were unhappy with Luke Skywalker, played by Mark Hamill's story. Johnson said no, stand by every chance. Johnson was also asked about what was the best and worst part about working on Star Wars. He said, everything is best. You're working on a Star Wars movie. There's nothing about that. The director said to keep an eye on StarWars.com for news about his planned trilogy that will take place outside the Skywalker saga and discuss how he supports Baby Yoda in The Mandalorian. Johnson, when asked about Carrie Fisher, said that plans for her to Leia Organa. Johnson, when asked about Carrie Fisher, said that plans for her character, Leia Organa, in the upcoming Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker were not finalized before her death in December 2016. Johnson's new film, Knives Out, is set to hit theaters on... Johnson's new film, titled Knives Out, is set to hit theaters on Wednesday. The project is a murder mystery starring Daniel Craig, Christopher Plummer, Jamie Lee Curtis, Chris Evans. Christopher Plummer, Jamie Lee Curtis, Chris Evans, Don Johnson, Michael Shannon, Toni Collette, Ana de Armas, and Catherine Langford. Graham Norton will host the 2020 BAFTA Film Awards. The British Academy of Film and Television Arts announced in a press release Friday that Norton will be hosting the EE British Academy Film Awards in February. The BAFTAs, which will celebrate British and international film talent, will take place February 2nd at the Royal Albert Hall in London. The awkward show will air on BBC One. Norton replaced actress and television personality Joanna Lumley, who hosted the 2018 and 2019 ceremony. Norton has previously hosted the BAFTA Television Awards, most recently in May. BAFTA Chief Executive BAFTA's Chief Executive Amanda Berry says, I'm absolutely delighted that Graham Norton will host the EE British Awards film. Norton will be hosting the EE British Academy Awards Films 2020. We're so excited to bring the brilliant Graham Norton to host the BAFTAs. The ongoing feud between pop sensation Taylor Swift and her former label Big Machine Records casts a glaring spotlight on music ownership rights and the way in which record labels expect to recoup their investment over time. Record executives say it's a standard part of a musician's contract to cede ownership of the master recordings in exchange for fronting the cost to produce the songs. Joey Reynolds, former creative director of 20th Century Fox Records, says the business model for the recording industry has always been since Under Reynolds' leadership, the label enjoyed success with artists like Barry White and the Alan Parsons Project, as well as the Star Wars soundtrack album. The public battle between Swift, who was nominated this week for 2 Grammy Awards, and Big Machine, which began earlier, harder. The public Big Machine began earlier this year when media mogul Scooter Braun purchased the label from Big Machine co-founder Scott Borchetta, setting off a firestorm of ill feelings and harsh words. As a former manager of rap megastar Kanye West, with whom Swift has maintained a long-running feud, Braun's ownership of the Masters was a worst-case scenario for Swift. She wrote in an emotional Tumblr post in June. Swift posted, "For years I've asked, pleaded for a chance to own my work. Instead, I was given an opportunity to sign back to Big Machine Records." She wrote, I walked away because I knew only to sign on. Big Machine owns Swift's catalog of recordings through her 2017 album Reputation. Swift wrote, "Scooter has stripped me of my life's work, essentially my musical legacy, and Selena Gomez announced Thursday that she will release her next album early next year. In a trailer shared to YouTube, Gomez announced the still untitled record, currently referred to as SG2, will be released January 10th. The video features excerpts from Instagram live streams of Gomez recording on the new album, as well as snippets of her 2 recently unannounced stars that will appear on the new album. Gomez also teased that the final title and tracklist will be coming soon. Fines will be available to fans can pre-order the new album beginning Thursday on digital music service, as well as retailers such as Target, which will have a special version of the album with additional tracks. French Montana was hospitalized Thursday after experiencing cardiac issues. People reported that police responded to a medical call at Montana's home in Calabasas, California, shortly before 1:30 p.m. Thursday. E! News said Montana, 35, was experiencing an elevated heart rate, stomach pains, and nausea. The rapper-born Kareem Karbach was transported via ambulance to a Los Angeles hospital. So it said Montana was awake and running and underwent treatment Thursday. He was expected to be released from the hospital the same day. TMZ says police were initially called to Montana's home. The deputy is down here. The deputy found Montana to be acting normally and guess what? So it said Montana has been traveling over the past couple of weeks and could have been exposed to contaminated food. TMZ said police were called to Montana's home for a possible robbery. The deputies found Montana to be acting abnormally and recommended he get treatment. So it says Montana was awake and alert and underwent treatment Thursday. He is expected to be released from the hospital the same day. Source said Montana has been traveling over the past couple of weeks and could have been exposed to contaminated food. Montana is expected to release his 3rd studio album, Montana, this month. The album includes the singles Riding on the Wall featuring Post Malone, Cardi B, and Russian, and the song Twisted featuring Juicy J, A$AP Rocky, and Logic. And as your entertainment report for Friday, November 22nd, 2019, I'm your host, Mr. Downtown Melo. I'll be back on Monday to deliver some major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Melo. That's RAYMELO. On Twitter at The Enter Report, or on Instagram at The Entertainment Report. You can listen to this episode or any previous episodes of The Entertainment Report anytime you want on iHeartRadio, on iHeartRadio.com, Search on iHeart.com, search for the Entertainment Report, and it will take you to the homepage. Everyone have a great weekend. Good night, and God bless you all.